What's up, boys? Welcome back to The Prepared Father. Today, we're going to be diving deep into a pistol that kind of caught me off guard in pretty much the best way possible. And that's the Fusion Firearms XP Pro. Now, before we get into the specs, performance, and whether or not this is worth a spot in your collection, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow and expose others to new two-way content. So, here's how I stumbled on the XP Pro. My now close friend, but at the time, just some random YouTuber, The Life of Ron, posted a video about this thing, and man, I was shocked at the price, at the look, and frankly, how well the dude shot the thing. Ron is an absolute freak of nature at shooting, so Ron, if you watch this, I love you, buddy. At first, though, I'll be honest, I had no idea what I was looking at. You know, the shop had it labeled as a Fusion Ermox, and I didn't even know what that means. So I hadn't even heard of Fusion Firearms before. So I went home, did some digging, and realized this wasn't some off-brand knockoff like the Mac 9 DS, which I hear is great, or like the stuff T-Sauce makes. Fusion Firearms actually has a really solid reputation for building precision 1911s, and that was enough for me. So I waited until the time was right. Well, first I had to get my funds together because I'm a dad, so, you know, that's going to come first. And eventually the XP Pro came home with me. Now, if you're not familiar with Fusion, here's the really quick history. The company was founded by Bob Serba, the former president of Dan Wesson. If you know anything about Dan Wesson, they have no small name. Serba took that experience to launched Fusion with the goal of making performance 1911s more accessible to the everyday shooter. We'll talk about these in a second. And I think he succeeded with that, both in design, specs, and the quality control. Because Ermox makes the pistol, but when it's shipped here, it goes through a pretty strict quality control process. So you're essentially getting an American engineered product paired with overseas manufactured efficiency, which really helps keep the cost down while still holding Fusion's design standards. In other words, it's not really cutting the corners, it's being smart with production, even though, you know, I know all of us would prefer a handmade American firearm. You know what I mean? I get that. I really, really do. But when you're someone who wants to get into the 2011 market and you just don't have that kind of capital you're working with, this is a fantastic option. So let's run through the specs real quick so you know exactly what you're getting with the XP Pro. It's a 1911 double stack, chambered in 9mm. It takes Glock 17 magazines, which is a big deal because very few of the 2011 style pistols are Glock mag compatible, especially at the price point. You have the Staccato HD P4 and P45, which, you know, if you got that kind of money, dude, you fucking go crazy. Staccatos kick ass. But, you know, I think for the money, this is definitely gonna shock you. It is a 4-inch commander length with tri-top cuts, front vents, and some, you know, mediocre front serrations here, I think, because I have a little bit of lube on my hands. So, like, if you got lube, this is kind of pain. That's why I'm racking it off the optic, which, alright, is a little bit oily now. Got a rear sight mounted optic plate if you want to throw on an RMR, SRO, RMSC. I know it sends with the RMR and RMSC optic plate. Barrel is a 4-inch para-ramped bull barrel. Pretty high quality. You're running ambi safeties here, full-length guide rod, and a steel frame pick rail. The trigger is absolutely amazing. It is a one-piece milled steel trigger, and it is super, super crisp. It's hard to, you know, it's really hard to tell, but I would, you know, I've had the Staccato C, and, you know, I would say it is in the ballpark. You know, there might be like a very, very slight difference, but, you know, to the average shooter, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. It's a mix of, like, old school craftsmanship and, like, the modern features you're looking for, with kind of a couple of unique twists you don't really see every day, like the Glock mag compatibility. The first thing that struck me beyond the looks was just how tight and smooth everything felt when
Yes, you are tight like a tiger.
you rack the slide. listen, like, I know it's the internet and you're not going to be able to hear it, but let me put my hat down, which has my mic on it. Let's see if you can get, so if that worked at all. It might not. I might just look like a dumbass, but it is what it is. No rattling, no drag. It doesn't get hung up on the extractor like some 2011s do. No cheap shortcuts. At least it seems to me when you're fiddling with it. And I've got to talk about this finish. The Tennifer treatment is something you don't see often anymore in the U.S. because of environmental regulations, but it is known for incredible hardness and super corrosion resistant. It has hard chrome on top of that, and you've got durability with like a showpiece shine to it. Honestly, this gun stands out visually in ways most modern pistols don't. The checkering on the grip is, it's decent, but it's not punishing, and it comes with an aluminum grip frame and pretty aggressive texture on the back strap here. Currently, I have Handle It Grips Edge Edition grip tape on it, which is like a mix between a rubber and like a sandpaper. So you can carry it, and when you grab it, it still gives you that full purchase grip that you're looking for. It really feels like a hybrid of classic 1911 ergonomics with modern competitive shooting upgrades. It's got a really nice slide stop here, so you don't really have to break your grip. You know what I mean? I kind of do because my hands are smaller man-sized hands, but, don't hate, appreciate. You know what I mean, boys? But let's get into the part that really matters, shooting it. Now, the single action trigger is phenomenal. There's absolutely minimal take up here, like barely any. A super clean break and a really short audible reset that you really feel with your finger, and it really gets forced forward. Fusion lists the pull weight between 3.5 to 4 pounds, but when I put my finger gauge on it, kind of because I don't have an actual trigger gauge, which is fine, you know what I mean? Like, if you pull enough triggers, you'll kind of be able to determine how much pull is on it. I would say it's about 3 to 3.5. Now that to me is a sweet spot for competition, performance, and everyday carry. I took it out to the range with about 500 rounds of 115 and 124 grain Deltaco ammunition and some hollow points, and I will definitely say within the first 15 rounds, I had one failure to eject, but after that, the gun ran flawlessly. I also tested the SIG Romeo X Compact on it, and it paired pretty damn good with this pistol. The red dot readiness really adds another layer of versatility to it, which, most 1911 style pistols don't. I will say that the 2011 market is kind of, standard with optic cut, but I'm glad Bob Servo really brought the optic capability to this platform. So who's the XP Pro actually made for? Now, let's be real. It's not your most common everyday carry gun. At almost 40 ounces unloaded, it's pretty heavy for EDC. But for a range gun, a competition piece, or if you don't mind the weight, it's great to add to your collection. I really do think this is a fantastic product. I would not just be saying that. You know what I mean? I do love the staccatos, but I've touched and got to shoot the Mac 9 DS. I've got to shoot the Thesis Night Stalker, and they did not compare to this in any way, shape, or form. Now, for the enthusiast, this thing really shines. I'll be running mine in USPSA, God willing. So holster options are a little bit difficult. The only ones I could find are for the Staccato HD P4, and it usually has to be light bearing. Klecker Tactical actually just got some fusions in, so he'll be making his own holsters for these. It's functional, though the aftermarket support is kinda small, but it's growing. It's unique, it's different. It's not trying to be a Staccato or an off-brand clone. It really has its own identity, which I appreciate in this market, and it delivers incredibly high performance, especially without breaking the bank. So my final take here, boys, the Fusion Firearms XP Pro is a pistol that absolutely deserves more attention than it gets. I think it should be shining in this market right now. From the Tennifer and chrome finish, to the crisp trigger, to the Glock mag compatibility, it offers features that you'd expect to see on pistols literally at twice the price. No, it's not your go-to concealed carry price, because it's not a fucking Glock. But for the range, for competition, for a serious collector who wants something that both shoots and looks amazing, XP Pro absolutely earns its place. For me, it's a statement piece in my collection, and it performs literally as good as it looks. Alright guys, that's my full breakdown of the Fusion Firearms XP Pro. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you consider something like this? Are you a 2011, 1911 DS fanboy like I am? Would you run something like this on the range, competition, or even for EDC? And don't forget, if you enjoy this review, it is really important that you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. YouTube absolutely hates small gun tubers, and they will shadow ban me to hell if you do not do that. It really helps me bring you honest reviews, training content with Two Vets Development Group, and insights into gear that I find that it's worth my time and should be worth yours. So thanks for watching The Prepared Father, boys. Stay safe, stay ready, and I'll see you in the next one. Boop.